Folks, I have made an effort to cover a wide variety of shows, movies, and games on this channel. And if there's one game I want to talk about for a while, it's Persona. One part JRPG, one part slice of life, one part dungeon crawler. It is way too many things in order to work, but my god, it works. I was gonna do a news video on Persona 5X, but I was working on other videos at the time, so that ship has sailed. And because my Korra Villains debunk, which will be linked by the end of this video, involves going over multiple theories at once, today I'll be debunking 5 Persona theories. So for this video, we'll be covering 2 theories from Sky Games Academy, 2 theories from Keta Mercer, and 1 from a certain game theory channel I covered on this segment before. And if you know anything about Persona and game theory, you probably know the one I'm talking about. And let's see, what else? Oh yeah, spoilers. Let's get started. So I'm gonna start this video off with Sky Games Academy and their Akechi's real persona theory, as I believe this is the best way to get everyone on the same page. Also, I really like his intro.
Why are you staring, Nanako?
Some people believe that Akechi actually only has one persona. Another theory suggests that Robin Hood is Akechi's first persona.
Now, I'm sure some of you are saying to yourselves, what's he talking about? What's a persona? And why is it a big deal if someone has more than one? Well, to understand the world of persona, you first need to understand a man by the name of Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, in which the persona series takes much of its inspiration and terms from shadows, collective unconscious, and yes, even the game's namesake, personas. In Carl Jung's psychology, the persona is a mask we use to identify ourselves and how we want other people to see us. In the world of persona, however, it's more like a JoJo stand, allowing you and your party members to use magic-based attacks to defeat enemies. And in very rare cases, a person can switch between 2 or more personas through the power of the wild card, just like Akechi, and in every installment, you, the player character, represented by the Fool Arcana.
Everybody got that?
So with that out of the way, you can now understand what this theory is about, which is Akechi's from Persona 5's real persona. This Akechi, Detective Prince Akechi, the secret traitor and in-universe light Yagami Akechi. And Sky Games' answer is, well, he doesn't really have an answer, he just kind of plays devil's advocate. I'm starting to regret choosing this theory, actually. But I and many others would like to point out that there is more evidence to say that Loki is Akechi's true persona. In your boss fight against him, Akechi reveals that he was behind all the mental shutdowns, a subplot in a game, and also reveals he has the power to turn people psychotic. And the persona he used was none other than Loki.
What was that? That wasn't Robin Hood. Could it have been a different persona?
And considering Akechi had his powers 2 years before the start of the game, and Loki represents his true self, whereas Robin Hood represents his actual persona, what he wants people to see him as, I think it's safe to say that Loki is his true persona. On to the next theory. This next theory is also around Persona 5, more specifically Persona 5 Royal, and one of the new characters introduced, Jose. So let's play that great intro again with the video.
Why are you staring, Nanako?
The theory we'll be covering today is going to be a bit different than our usual way of presenting theories.
Huh?
Instead of using existing information as a stepping stone toward the conclusion, we'll start at the conclusion and try to fill in the gap.
With all due respect to the good people at Sky Gaming Academy, this doesn't really seem like a sound way to make theories.
With that out of the way, we'll assume that Jose and Makoto Yuki, the Persona 3 protagonists, are the same person. A pretty insane assumption, I say, but let's see what information we can find to validate this hypothesis.
I'll give him credit, he did call it a hypothesis and not theory. So what Sky Gaming is suggesting is that Jose is you, the player character from Persona 3 Reborn, as by the end of Persona 3, you, the player character, actually dies, so that his soul can be part of the Great Seal, which is there to keep these 2 godlike entities from merging. Sucks to be you. What? No, not you, you're fine. Now, Sky Gaming does address the issue I brought up in this theory. However, I personally had a little trouble following along.
Mr. Krabs, I am so confused.
I know that's not a good sign for my credibility, but like Sky Games mentioned before, this theory starts with the conclusion first, which means you'll have to take a lot of leaps in logic in order to understand it. But from what I can process, Elizabeth, the Velvet Room attendant from Persona 3, took Makoto's life force somehow and placed it in Jose, because Jose represents this egg that births divine beings, with his hair looking like a cracked egg and all, but also represents the child archetype that everyone is born with. And the Persona evolutions are also a hint to this, even though they use different wording. And why is it that Jose is an egg? He's usually shown around stars, not eggs, stars. Yeah, you see what I mean when I said I had a hard time following along? Now, in spite of everything I just said, this is not meant to be an insult to Sky Gaming or his channel. And a lot of people do want the Persona 3 protagonist to get free. And I'm sure this theory made more sense when he first thought it up. But my criticism with this theory in particular is, well, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when you start a conclusion first for a hypothesis or theory, you can essentially theorize on whatever you want, no matter how much it contradicts the lore. And at that point, it's no longer theory, it's just headcanon, which is a very easy line to cross. Anyways, that about does it for the Sky Gaming segment of this video. If you do want to check out his channel or any of the other channels I've talked about in this video, please be respectful in the comments section and just play nice on the internet in general. Okay, so now we enter the Keta Mercer segment of the video, and this theory is on everyone's favorite otaku hacker, Futaba. And I gotta be honest, this one was hard, mostly because he covered not one, but two different outcomes for her father. For those of you who don't know, Futaba is your navigator in Persona 5. She was raised solely by her mother until an incident with a mental shutdown, and a car, and her shitty family, leads Futaba to isolate herself in her room until her change of heart in game, and get adopted by Sojiro, the grumpy coffee shop owner with the heart of gold. Because of this, many fans have come to their own conclusion on who Futaba's father is. So here is bachelor number 1 on this theory.
Diving deep into this rabbit hole, you will come across two names which constantly come up in conversations about the topic. Let's take a road less traveled and focus on a more obscure target. Let me introduce Kaoru Saga, aka Balfu.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Balfu was a character way back in Persona 2 in Instant Sin and Eternal Punishment. Now let's see, the first piece of evidence in the video was how similar their hair is. Well, Futaba's hair is orange, so... Wait, the art book actually confirms she dyes her hair. Okay, so what? Lots of people can get the same haircut. Besides, the ages don't even match up. It's already been confirmed that Futaba was born in that golden year of 2001, and Balfu was 32 in Eternal Punishment, which took place in 1999. So if we add up 2 years, that would make Balfu 34. That's not an unrealistic age to start having a child at. But no sir, I have not admitted defeat yet. Let's go back to this later and check out the other candidate.
There's still one more option left on the table. The bald, thirsty sugar daddy will now have his time in the spotlight. I'm referring to Masayoshi Shido.
Oh crap, that makes too much sense. Now, for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, all you need to know is that Shido is the goddamn worst. He assaulted a woman, then got you, the player character, arrested for it. He assaulted another woman, which gave way to a Keiji 9 months later, you know, the guy from 2 theories ago. And then he assaulted a third woman. Look, if you can't tell what I'm talking about at this point, that's your problem. And we know Shido knew about Futaba's mom, Wakuba, because he was the one who ordered the mental shutdown on her. No, there has to be something here. I picked this theory because I knew it was like a Jenga tower, ready to fall over if I can just find the right piece. And then it hit me. Why is it that there are so many potential candidates for Futaba's dad? Surely they can't all be right. Are we just overthinking it? Probably, but I think that's the point. There never was a way to determine who her dad is because there never was a real answer.
There was no father.
Okay, I feel like I'm confusing some of you, so here's where I'm going with this. If there's proof that both of these men, or any male character in the game, can be Futaba's father, then none of them can be Futaba's father. Okay, great, another one down. Could have gone a little better in my opinion, but hey, I'll take it. Now, I feel like we've been covering way too many Persona 5 theories, so here's something a little more all-inclusive. Here we go, this is an easy one. This next one is the closest thing I could find to a traditional theory. He tries to explain the differences between the multiple types of Persona users we've seen over the years.
The ability to summon your persona almost anywhere, as long as during the dockout. Second, you get a flipping gun. One pro off the bat is the fact that you don't have a time limit. Either you hit the lottery and awakens your persona because you're lucky like that, or you can face your shadow. You also have mementos at your disposal to run around with your persona. The next pro we have to work with is the way you awaken to your persona. You don't have to confront your own personal shadow.
Now, I don't need to tell most of you that Keter is right in how each Persona awakening is done. The problem I want to bring up, though, is that the video talks about these different ways as if they're mutually exclusive. In Persona 4 Ultimax, we see that Persona 3 characters are able to summon their personas in the Midnight Channel. And coming back to Futaba, her Persona awakening was more akin to the ones from Persona 4. So it's not actually like they're different types of Persona users. They just summon their personas any way that's symbolically best for the story. Persona 3 was all about people people's relationship with the big D word.
Pause.
Hence why the characters in that game use a not gun but evoker to call out their personas. The TVs in Persona 4 are not only portals to the other world, but also mirrors reflecting the character's shadow selves, their true inner thoughts, which eventually become their personas. And in Persona 5's case, they take a more literal approach, having the personas actually turn into a mask when not in use. Exactly how Young himself described the persona. It is incredible how well thought out these games are. And now we come to the long-awaited final theory of the video, hosted by everyone's favorite master of memes, Mr. Matthew Patrick of the Game Theory channels. Now, full disclosure before we start anything, the video I'm about to be referring to is a pretty old one, and in that time many fans have addressed their complaints, both the theory and the video itself, especially in the opening. There's a lot of hate there, but I'm not going to play that part of the video because A, I don't want to rile anyone up too much, and B, MatPat already addressed this part below in his comments section, as well for the rest of the video in general. I wasn't able to get the full post onto here, but here are the quotes I'm talking about. First, the intro was not intended to make fun of or belittle the fanbase of Persona in any way. I'm sorry if it came across as mean-spirited. Being protective of a franchise is not a bad thing. Second, I obviously didn't go deep enough or understand everything as well as I thought I did. As with the Phoenix Wright episode, another misjudgment on my part. I thought this game would function well as a standalone title, but obviously there are added details in other games, as well as supplemental content I just didn't take into consideration. And there you have it. Even MatPat himself had disowned the video at this point. He went full Hitachi and tossed this theory off a cliff to fend for itself. This isn't about opening old wounds, nor is it about accusing anyone. Whatever is said here is solely for explaining what not to do when theory crafting. What do I mean by this? Well, it's simple. Don't make theories on games you haven't played yet.
What I'm proposing is that Teddy, sweet, lovable, cuddly, Humpty Dumpty-esque Teddy, is secretly Yu's former shadow. When Yu was selected by the gods to receive his gift and the special persona, it left his true shadow, Teddy, with no home and no purpose. He'd been kicked to the curb.
Now, for anyone who hasn't been Persona 4, the theory sounds like it will make perfect sense. Except for this one little problem. Just a tiny little wrinkle in everything. You wanna know what it is? Come on, come in closer. I want everyone in the back to hear me. 3, 2, 1. That's not how shadows work! Yes, the lesser shadows are their own entities, but the ones MatPat is referring to are part of the party members themselves. When you summon a persona, you're summoning an aspect of yourself, not a separate being. You can't just replace one person's shadow with another. The gods MatPat are referring to, aka Izanami, didn't give you his first persona, nor the ability of the wild card, just to unlock the power he already had inside for him. Anyways, there's a bunch of other misconceptions as well, but that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video with friends. Theory debunked.